Okay, in this section, we're going to add some callout graphics and text to the screen to help bring attention to some of the things that you're talking about. So when we want to add anything new into the project, we go to the left-hand side, we're going to click our plus button and go to graphics. So there's lots of different ones here. Titles is all the kind of text that might appear on the screen. You've also got transition graphics, which we'll have a look at later on, as well as some overlays. I'm going to go into the titles, and there's lots that you can scroll through to have a look at. I'm going to do a quick search for callout graphics, which is where we want to point at something on the screen with a quick graphic and text. I'm going to use this one here, and I'm going to add it in. Great. Now we can't see it just yet because our cursor is not over it yet. So here it is, and it's coming to our screen, and I'm going to move it so that's right above my bit of B-roll here. And what I also need to do is use our transform tool that we used in our last section, and I'm going to drag it here so that it's basically just pointing at the jug. And now we've got it in the right spot, and I can click on the graphics bar up the top, and that's going to let me edit the content here. So I've double clicked on the actual text that they've preloaded in here, and I can type in my text. Great. You can change things like the text color here. You just need to click on and choose the color that you like. Oops, good mistake. I need to make sure that it is all selected first, and then I can change it. Perfect. I can add an outline to the text, add a shadow, mess with the spacing, all those kinds of things that you would expect. Now I can also change things like the color of that box here. If I wanted to go a bit darker, there you go, making a nice coffee color. But these things are all adjustable. You can see this one's actually made of 3 components. It's got the little shape and it's got the line, and we can edit all of those things. But what we really just want is a bright bit of text that's going to appear and tell our students what they should be looking at in this bit of video. Fill up our jug with just over 1 cup's worth of water. Great, and I'll just drag that back in. And again, you can add a transition to that as well if you like. So I can make that dissolve in. Some of them come with pre-built little animations so that it will slide in from the side, but you can have a play around and see what they do. So the other thing we can do now is add some introductory text to introduce who you are and what you're talking about. So again, we can go to graphics, and I'll just search in titles, and I'm going to go for a nice little kind of introduction. I could go for something like this, which is a really simple, what we call like a lower third graphic. I'm going to choose this one here, press add, and there it is. Let's get rid of our titles section there. So I can then scroll over here and now alter this to put my details in. Now, because it is like white text and there's a bit of light background, I am going to make sure that we do have maybe a little bit of an outline to help define that text. And let's just make the outline a bit bigger. Great, so now that should be a little bit clearer with that outline, and I'll leave it at that. Let's see what it does. And you'll see this one's going to zoom in. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a coffee using the atomic coffee maker. Great. First thing we need to do. And again, you can adjust the duration of that by just dragging the sides. Cool. Now, the other thing that we saw was transition graphics that we could use. And that's where between a couple of scenes, you might have a graphic that comes through and adds a little bit of a dynamic transition. So let's go to graphics, and we'll go to transition overlays. And this might be if you're having different titles of a chapter. So you can see some that have got text built in. And let's go with, I like this one here. Great, and now it's placing it up there. And I'm going to bring it down here. Let's go to our graphics and we can change the text. Here we go, and we'll see what that does. 3 people, and I'm going to fill this with coffee. Great. So it's just a quick little way of transitioning with some color and movement into your next chapter or next scene. So let's try at least 2 functions here. Let's use the callout function to show something that students should be looking at, as well as that little lower third graphic that will help introduce the speaker. Give it a go.